Okay, hello everyone. How are we doing today? We are going to be doing the first page of 5.3. Um, and then we'll cover the rest of it tomorrow in class. Okay, so let's start. Share my screen. All right. Okay, cool beans. So we are trying to we're doing 5.3 is on normal distributions, but finding values in a normal distribution. Okay. So when we mean values, okay, like you're finding other things, maybe other than probabilities, right? You might be given a probability and you might find a z-score, or you might find your x value that corresponds to a certain z-score. And that's what we're going to see in this section. Okay, so let's start. First, when you are given a probability, all right, when you're given a probability, you can find the corresponding z-score. All right, so you want to, let me put this up. When you think of probabilities, another word for probability in a normal distribution is the left or the area, okay? Area under the curve is the same thing as the probability at that z-score, or of some less than, greater than, or between two we talked about, okay? So what we want to do here, okay, we're given an area or a probability, and we want to find the z-score that corresponds to that area, okay? So my area, my cumulative area is 0.3632, and we remember that cumulative area just means my left area, and that's the areas that your chart gives you, okay? Default. So we know that my z-score has a left area of 0.3632. So we're kind of working backwards on this one, okay? Now, ooh, that's a really good normal curve. Now I know for sure from this one, due to the fact that this area is less than 0.5, that tells me that this is going to be a negative z-score. Okay, I know that because the middle of your graph, you have an area left area of 0.5. Okay, so anything greater than an area of 0.5 is going to be positive z-score. Anything less is going to be a negative z-score. Okay, so we're looking over here. We're trying to find the z that is corresponding to that. Okay, so this is a normal distribution. So we're going to use our table in some way, just not the way we used it yesterday. Okay, so get out your z table, and we're going to, okay, what's 3632? Okay, all right, so point, oh, just keep that there. Actually, we're going to be using it later. Okay, 0.3632 is my first area. So what I'm going to do, notice, remember, when we're dealing with a z-score, okay, or when we're dealing with areas, the middle of the graph, all these numbers right here, those represent area to the left of the z-score, which is what we were given in this case, right? So to find the z-score, I'm going to look for this number 0.3632 somewhere in the middle of my chart. Okay, if I find it, once I find it, I'll find the z-score that corresponds to that. So it's not that hard to find these. Okay, I'm looking for the 0.3s first. So I'm going down here, and then it's 3.6 something. Okay, so this is 3.2. Go over here. I see some 3.6s, and voila, 0.3632. That corresponds to a z-score of negative 0.35. 0.35. Okay, my z-table looks a little bit different than y'all's. Okay, right. I think y'all's go from 0 to 9. This one went from 9 to 0. Okay, so it's still the same z-score though, 0.3632. Oh no, excuse me, negative 0.35. Right. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Z equals negative 0.35. Okay. Find the z-score that has 10.75% of the distribution's area to its right. Okay. Okay. So let's draw. Let's always like to draw these bell curves to get an idea over them. to get an idea of what area we're finding. Okay, so this is, I know that my entire area is 1, right? So 10.75% of 1 is going to be 0.1075, okay? But this is area, it's not to the left, it's an area to the right. So 0.1075. All right, now, this is all fine and dandy, okay? But I'm not looking for the right area, I'm looking for the area to the left, okay, which is all this jazz right here, okay? So this has an area of 1 minus 0.1075, which is equal to 1 minus 0.1075. It's 0.8925. And I knew I was going to have a positive z-score because that right there is positive, okay? So the left area here is positive. I mean, it's greater than 1.5, so that tells me that it was a positive z-score we're going to be trying to find. So we're trying to actually find this area right here, okay? So 0.0825. All right, so I'm going to go over to my my positive z-scores. But no, 0.8925, not 0.0825. Excuse me. Sure, yelling at the computer right now. 0.8925. Yeah. Okay. So over here, look where my 8's at. All right, here. Okay, let's see. 8925. Wonderful. It's 1.24. 1.24. So the wording in these problems really matters. Okay, left area, area to the right. Now let's see this next one. Okay, we've done left areas, we've done right areas. Now we're gonna have area in the middle. Okay, so find the positive z-score for which 95% of the distribution's area lies between negative z and z. Okay, so what this is saying is that, okay, we have two z-scores here. Notice they're the same, z and negative z, but one is negative, one's positive. So we're trying to find the z's positive version, okay, where 0.95 lies between those two, okay? So for negative z over here, on the right side, we're going to have positive z, the same number, but just different. It's positive, excuse me. So it's telling me the area between those two is 0.95. Okay, so now we know our curve has a total area of. Oh, give me a second. Someone knocking on the door. Hello? What kind of video? All right, sorry. Okay, 0.95 is in the middle here. So those two wings right there, okay, those are going to be the same area, okay, because this is symmetric. A bell curve is symmetric. So together, these two tails, not wings, whatever, the tails add up to 0.05, okay, because 1 minus 0.95 is 0.05. And then from here, these are going to each have an area of, you take that 0.05 and you divide by 2, okay, to get 0.025 as your area of each what am I trying to area of each tail, okay? So now notice this 0.25 on the left is just the left area of negative z, correct? So I'm just going to look up 0.025 on my chart, and then it's going to be a negative, okay? So I'm just going to take away the negative, and that's going to be my positive z-score. And the reason we can do that is because these two are symmetric around the middle, okay? So they're going to be the same number. right, so I'm looking for 0.025 on my chart. All right, so over here, all right, 0.025. Okay, so 0.4, we got it right there. 0.0250. That's going to correspond to a z-score of negative 1.96, but I want the positive version, so it's going to be positive 1.96. Okay, I'm going to do 2 of these with you, all right? Because once you do one, you know how to do it, okay? So find the z-score that what I want y'all to do. I want you to do all of them, okay? I'm going to do 2 with you. Then after that, after the video ends, you're going to do the rest of them yourself, okay? So we're finding the z-score that corresponds to a percentile, okay? Percentile is just another word for like percentage of how much we've talked about percentiles. So the percentile just means I'm going to have an area of 0.05. Okay, 5%, 0.05. So let's go look at our chart. We want to find the z-score that has an area of 0.05. Okay, so 0.05. All right, so notice halfway between 0.495 and 0.505. So it's right in the middle, okay, of those two numbers, 0.495 and 0.505. So it's really between negative 1.65 and negative 1.64. So what's directly in the middle of that? It's going to be negative 1.645. Okay, so that's my z-score, negative 1.645. If you didn't catch that the first time, rewind it, listen to it again. Okay, you need to know how to find the z-score that falls between 2 different areas right there. Okay, now this next one means we have an area of 0.5. Okay, where on our chart 0.5 is 1/2, right? So it's half of the area under our curve. Where along our normal curve or is going to have a left area of 0.5? Okay, that's half of your area. Since our total area is 1, 0.5 is going to have it at the middle, which is z equals 0. Okay, I'm done. If you have any questions, you can email me. All right, do the rest of these percentile problems, and then we'll start with the next page tomorrow in class. Have a great day.